This is BBC News. Now, Iran has said that 5 Americans who've been jailed for years in Iran will soon be transferred to the airport as part of a prisoner swap. The deal was mediated by the Gulf state of Qatar. Our chief international correspondent, Lisa Doucette, is in Doha for us. And at least just take us to the build-up, the negotiations, the complexity of all, to the point we are now.
Yes, this is really the end game in what is a deeply controversial, highly complex deal. You're joining us here at the largely empty tarmac at the old international airport here in the Qatari capital, such an ordinary setting where in a few hours' time we expect to see the culmination of an extraordinary moment when the 5 American prisoners who've been held for years in Iran's notorious Evin prison will land here to be greeted by Qatari and American officials before heading to the United States. And all of the last pieces fell into place early this morning when Qatari banks confirmed that the $6 billion in funds, money that Iran earned in selling oil to South Korea, had now arrived here in the banks. It's money that will be strictly controlled, we understand, by the Qatari and other authorities. That gave the green light that the Americans in Iran could start moving towards the airport there. And 5 prisoners in the United States, Iranians, largely jailed on evading U.S. sanctions, will also be released. And there was too a confirmation from Tehran, from the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, that this process will indeed get underway today.
Based on the information I have, the exchange of prisoners will be done today. 5 citizens of the Islamic Republic of Iran will be released from prison.
We don't have the full details yet of the identities of the 5 American prisoners, but 3 of them are well known. The longest detained Iranian American in Iranian prison is Siamak Namazi. He's now a 51-year-old businessman who spent nearly 8 years in Evin prison. He was detained in 2015 on a business trip to Iran and then was later convicted on spying charges, sentenced to 10 years in jail. Ahmad Shargi was traveling in Iran with his wife in 2018 when he was first detained. And before then, he was arrested 2 years later, also on espionage charges. And there's also Murad Tabaz. He's a British-American conservationist. He was arrested 5 years ago. He also received a 10-year sentence. The 4th and the 5th American, who also holds an Iranian passport, have not been revealed. The names of the 5 Iranian prisoners in the United States, who not all of whom are expected to return to Iran today, have been released by the Iranian mission in New York. So this is an extraordinary moment, especially a rare moment of cooperation between Iran and the United States, who do not have diplomatic ties. This complex deal was negotiated over nearly a year by the Qatari officials, shuttling between American and Iranian delegations in 2 separate hotels here in the Qatari capital. And the end of their efforts will be seen today.